Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. Nosratha. Hope you are doing very well. We're back for another watch along. This time it's Wales, my team, taking on the French at the Stade de France kickoff in just about 15 minutes' time. Welcome along. If it's your first time, fantastic to have you here. I'm Brandon Smith. I run Brandon Smith Rugby, and I cover all things rugby, really. And we're doing this with the Welsh Rugby Roundup show today. So if you're watching on Facebook, welcome to the live stream. It's fantastic that you join us this evening for an interesting game, a very, very interesting game. Just before we go ahead, make sure to subscribe, leave a like on the video. Some of you have already got your predictions in the comments, and I'm going to go through them in just a second. If you haven't, be sure to get your thoughts and your predictions in the comments down below. I do need to disclaim right at the start here that I will not be showing the game. This is not a live stream of the game. This is simply a watch along where you can have the game on in the background if you want, and then we can chat rugby, we can have banter, we can enjoy each other's company as rugby fans. Of course, we had the Scotland one yesterday, which you guys absolutely loved, and you smashed it. And we had such a good chat with Kyle from Starkey. He was on the channel. But welcome. How does it feel to have Welsh Rugby back again? Let's get into some of your comments already. Chris K is back in France to win this one. 35, Cymru 32. A very close game. If it's that high scoring, I'll be very, very happy with that one. Hamish Minton is back in Wales to win by 80 points. I mean, that's an interesting one, but I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Gregor, fantastic to have you on the channel. You're so supportive of the channel, mate. Great to have you here. Wales to win, mate. I'd take that. I'll tell you about my thoughts in just a second, but let's have a look at the teams. We have quite a few team news to look through. Let's start with the home team first. France. It is in France, of course, and we'll talk about it. So it should come up on your screen for you now. Starting with the front row, we have Bailly, Marchand, Hawass, Leroux, Wilhelms, Cross, Aldrit, and Olivon will captain the side. Dupont then plays at 9 with Untermark playing in the fly half position. And then you have Ratez on the wing, and then a centre partnership of Ficou and Vakatawa. Teddy Thomas then playing on the opposite wing with Boutier playing at fullback, and quite a few youngsters on the bench, but also a lot of experience. So looking at that team, for me personally, there's a few names which certainly stand out. The likes, of course, of Dupont and Untermark will be very dangerous, and they've begun to play more together at Toulouse now because Untermark tended to be played at centre, but recently they've begun to play a little bit more together now and had that connection, that little bit more connection, I believe. So Vakatawa is always a danger man, isn't he? He's so good on the ball, so powerful, so physical, and an absolute warrior on the pitch. Let's take a look at the Wales team then. As always, get your thoughts down in the comments. I'll read them out for sure throughout the show. Let's start then with the front row. Rhys Carre gets a start and Ryan Elias gets a start. Of course, Ken Owens is out injured at the minute. Samson Lee then finishes off the front row. We then have a lock partnership of Corey Hill and Alan Wynne-Jones. Alan Wynne-Jones will he'll become equal with Richie McCaw in terms of international appearances this evening. What a hero he's been for Welsh Rugby. Absolutely incredible. Then we have Aaron Wainwright, who is a very exciting young player, in my opinion. Tipuric starts at 7 with Faletau playing at 8. How good is it to see Faletau back in a Wales shirt once again after a lot of injury concerns over the years? Rhys Webb then plays at 9 with Dan Biggar. And then the wingers are Josh Adams and George North. The centre partnership then is Nick Tompkins and Jonathan Davis with Lee Halfpenny on the fullback position, not on the bench. And then the bench, Sam Parry, uncapped. He is on the bench alongside Nicky Smith, Dylan Lewis, and they are the front row options. Seb Davis then and James Davis can really play across that forward back part of the pack. Then Gareth Davis on the bench. Rhys Webb starting over Gareth Davis. What are we thinking about that? Are we happy with that one? Reece Patchell then the fly half option and could potentially play at fullback as well. And then the exciting one, Louis Rees-Zammit. I'm very excited to see if he can get some game time this evening. I'm very excited to see that. That's for sure. Nick says, Hart says Wales, Head says France. I'll get into my predictions in just a second, but they're along your lines, that's for sure. Carl Dixon is the referee this evening. Thank you, Gregor, for pointing that one out for us. Let's just quickly chat about the other results of the day. Ireland against Italy. Well, it was an absolute hammering, wasn't it? Ireland winning that one. Yeah, it was just a little bit mad that. And I thought Italy started well. They started well, but then unfortunately it just was not. Yeah, it was not great from from an Italian point of view. 50 points to 17. That one. Exeter have won the Premiership final, 19 points to 13. They've secured the double, of course, winning the Champions Cup, and now they have won the Premiership final. So congratulations to them as well. Chris K says, I prefer Davis to Webb. That's an interesting one. I think Webb is. I do. Webb 2-3 years ago, before he went to Toulon, was the guy. He was the guy, but it's one of them things, isn't it? Yeah, it is one of them things. But yeah, I would be interested. He has been playing well for Ospreys, although Ospreys did lose against Ulster last time out. You know, he has been playing regularly for them, so you can't really turn around to him and have a go at him. Ospreys did win this evening, beating Glasgow Warriors 23 points to 15, so that's a really good result for them. Nick says, once again, considering it's a friendly and considering we've no hope of a Six Nations title, I'd like to have seen more youngsters get blooded. So would have I. And I personally, I'll get into my thoughts on this game now and my predictions. And Chris, I'll get to your comment in just a second, mate. I really like what Pivac is trying to do, playing a really exciting style of rugby. I love that. But the reality is, I don't actually care about the result of this game because, as Nick obviously points out, we have no option to win this one, to win the Six Nations. We're not going to win it. We're not in the running. And so why not give players a chance? You know, there's 3 years until the next World Cup. So if you want to start blooding people in now, you want to start doing it now, they can then have 2 years of part of this team. Doing it next year, maybe the year after, feels a little bit pointless. And this is our best opportunity, in my opinion, to do it. The Nations Cup, Autumn Nations Cup, of course, is coming up. And that's going to be really tough. It's going to be really tough for us. We've got a tough group. So is there really an opportunity to do it there? I think this is the perfect opportunity to do it. But with the likes of Louis Rees-Zammit on the bench, I really want to see him come on. Maybe Sam Parry. I actually expect Pivac to give debuts to anyone who's able to get a debut this evening. So Sam Parry and Louis Rees-Zammit will get game time. I do believe that. But it is a little bit frustrating in places. Chris puts an interesting question out. And man, it's an interesting one. Remove Italy from Six Nations back to Five Nations. Well, this is an interesting debate, isn't it? And I want to get everyone's thoughts on this. About this. Is Italy good enough to be part of the Six Nations? But then people talking about Georgia, of course. But on yesterday's performance, I wouldn't really be that impressed by them. I'm not that impressed by Georgia. Wales just coming out at the minute from the tunnel, just so you know. But if you haven't put your predictions in, put them in. But Georgia, I don't think Georgia would offer that much considering yesterday's performance. Absolutely smashed by Scotland. And they didn't really show anything, to be honest, that made me think that they're decent. And, you know, they're in a very tough group in this Autumn Nations Cup, which is coming up. And of course, we have to take that into account. That is a very, very tough group. But it's very, very frustrating. Maxos says, I totally agree with you. Oh, thank you. At least someone does. We've had a few interesting comments over the last few watch-alongs. But yes, it is interesting, Italy and Georgia. I just think Italian rugby needs a whole restructure from the bottom up. And then we can start to think about Italian rugby coming back. I just think they've got too many foreign players in there. I've got nothing against it. If nations want to do that, that's their choice. But to really get to the hearts of the Italian people and to get Italian people on side with their national team, they need to invest in Italian players, Italian-born players. And it might take 10 years to build this team up through grassroots. It might be a long process. But if Italy are serious about really breaking into that tier one nations kind of category where they are going to be competing at Six Nations level, not scraping 1 or 2 wins. You know, they haven't won in the Six Nations since 2015. So it's been 5 years since they've had a win. And they're not going to beat England next week. I don't care what you say. Nick here says, Japan and Italy at the minute. They are Japan and Italy. Okay, interesting. That's for sure. Gregor with his predictions, 28 points to 22. I actually think it's going to be quite a high-scoring affair. I am going to back France to get this one. I am going to back them simply because they're home, and their team is generally a little bit stronger. And I just think that I don't know, but I'm not that bothered about the results. I'm interested to get your thoughts on that. Are you bothered about the results, or are you more about seeing players get an opportunity to play? As Nick pointed out earlier, players get an opportunity to play. IB says, I would love to see Japan in the Six Nations. I can't see it happening, to be honest. They decided to pull out the Autumn Nations Cup because of COVID. I think they would be better suited to actually play in the Rugby Championship with the likes of South Africa. Obviously, South Africa pulled out this year, but Australia, Argentina, and New Zealand. So the players are just singing at the minute, singing the national anthems. Very strange, with no fans there. But we are nearly set to get going. Unfortunately, not Zed Osco. The game's not going to be shown on here because of copyright. And ITV, S4C, and the Welsh Rugby Union might have something to tell me about it. But it is live on ITV4, I believe, and on S4C. But it's a watch along, so you can watch along here. You can have a chat, rugby chat, and have the game on in the background if you'd like to do that. IB says, just excited to see the squad back in action. Absolutely. We haven't played since March, early March. So it's just good to see Welsh, the team back on. Absolutely, it is. Again, just a reminder, if you're new here, to subscribe, leave a like on the video, share the stream if you'd like to your fellow rugby fans. Absolutely, go and do that if you'd like to do that. It'd be massively appreciated. And thank you so much for tuning in. But I do have some exciting news before we do kick off, as they are currently singing. I am part of the Welsh Rugby Roundup show. We round up Welsh Rugby once a month with a fantastic Facebook page and a Twitter page. I'm going to drop the link to the Facebook page in the chat right now. So go check it out, give it a like, have a look around, have a buzz about, and see what you think. Let me know what you think about this one. It's called the Dragon's Balls. It's a bit cheeky, but you can check it out. And also you can see the links to my personal page there, so you can go check that out. So, Co, thank you very much for the sub. I appreciate that. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Right, as they begin to sing, I'm going to leave the teams on the screen just for a second so you can see them, and then you will know. Let's show you the Wales team and the French team. So the French team up first. Take a look at this. And now for the Welsh team. There we go. Those are the both teams. We're about to kick off here. They're just showing the teams finally. Welcome along to the stream. Oh, heck of a lot of comments to get through. I do apologise that I have not got onto you. Gregor, thank you for answering that. What club do you support? I do support the Ospreys. I support Ospreys. And actually, it's been a good start to the season. Absolutely. Favorite current player? I know it's hard to choose. Mine is Tips. Oh, it's a tough one. I actually really like. I really like. Oh, fucking hell! I forgot his name. This is not good. I forgot his name. I'll get back to you in a second, Nick. Fucking hell! It's gonna be a long night. Cabe is in the bench of Blues. Yeah, he's starting for Wales. I think he's just trying something different this evening. I would like to see someone different. Wyn Jones, I believe he is injured. Yes, Ken Owens is injured as well. Dan Biggar's kicking us off here. So we are ready for this one. I hope you're excited. As always, any questions you want to throw me, anything you want to throw me like Nick's question there. And I will remember who I was going to give a shout out. Gwen Dragons, well, the top's up there. It's up there. Absolutely, it's up there. The Dragons. Encouraging signs for the Dragons, but still a lot to be desired. France have knocked the ball. Wales have knocked the ball on here, so it'll be a scrum to the French. Yes, that's right. Ulster will play against Dragons. That's coming up. Of course, we did do a Pro 14 preview, previewing all the games and predicting them. So we cover a lot of rugby here on the channel. So, yeah. Can't wait to see Sheedy at 10. Well, we did do the watch along, of course, for the game with Bristol against Toulon. Well, Wales have started really well here, and the ball's out to Halfpenny, and Wales have scored. Wales have scored a try for Wales. Lee Halfpenny within the first minute. Brilliant stuff there, and Wales have scored. Well, I was concerned coming into this game, but Halfpenny has got in over the try line. Let me know your thoughts on that try. I do apologise, maybe a bit of a delay between my reaction to what happened on the game, just because of the stream. Kyle, good start. Absolutely, it is a good start. Kyle was on our watch along yesterday. Had a great watch along there. Scotland winning that one comfortably. I think he was a little bit more drunk at the end, maybe, but I think he absolutely enjoyed it. So do check his channel out. I'll put a link in the chat in a second. Please check his channel out because he does a lot of Scottish rugby, but also did a reaction to the Ireland-Italy game today as well. So check that one out. What drinks and snacks has everyone got? This is what I've got. I've got a pizza, a pepperoni pizza. I've got a mug of juice because I couldn't be bothered to get a glass out. And I've got some Skittles as well. So I'm pretty sorted. But let me know what have you guys got drinking or eating. But Wales leading this one at the minute. Very good start and really just out of nowhere, to be honest. And within a minute, that'll be very encouraging. Biggar has added the extra points. Absolutely. Well worked straight off the training ground. It certainly was. It was an impressive move there. And to be honest, the defence was scrambling from France. And so you have to question, you have to question what's going on there. But they just caught them off guard. And it was good. It was good, though. What's a live stream without getting a wee bit pished? That's it, mate. If I wasn't working tomorrow, I would be absolutely on the bevs. I've got Watsits. Now, Watsits are debating themselves. I like the taste, but I don't like how they feel in my mouth. Don't twist my words because that sounds awful, but they get stuck in your teeth and stuff like that, and I'm not a big fan of that. I'm excited to see how Webb plays this evening. Webb against Davis. I think it was Chris who brought it up earlier on about that debate. I said 3 years ago, Webb by miles, but Webb has started well so far. And I just think that Webb sometimes, I don't know, he sneaks around the corners a little bit more. And I like that in a scrum half. But a good start for Wales. We will have a chat about the Italy game early on today. And we'll have a chat a bit more about that in detail. Also chat about the Ospreys who won today. That was the Pro 14 match, which happened today. And of course, no rugby on tomorrow. No Baba game because of obvious reasons. Reece J, welcome along, mate. Wales for the win. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. Absolutely. A great start. Cannot argue with that. If we can get the basics right, it's going to be an interesting game. But again, it's such early days. France really having their first part of possession here and able to do something with it. Rattez there just had a little run just a second ago. So it's going to be interesting to see what we can do this evening in this game. Again, I'm all about the performance and getting people opportunities to play, trying different things out, having a go, not being afraid to have a go, not feeling like, hopefully Pivac isn't thinking, they need to play really well in this game to play against Scotland next week. I hope he just says, right, we'll have a go, try a few things out, and yeah. Yep, Gregor, there is Pro 14 Rugby tomorrow. Sorry, I was just talking about the Bar game. There is Pro 14 Rugby tomorrow. Wales turned the ball over just a second ago. And let's see what we can do with this one. Again, it's going to be interesting to see the partnerships between the likes of Tompkins and Jonathan Davis building. I do think that will be the centre partnership going forward. Unless Jamie Roberts can continue performing the way he is, then yeah, I see that being the partnership going forward. So Wales have won the penalty here. Bigger will go for the corner. Wales starting on the front foot here. It's Italy. I'm getting confused. France being a little bit ill-disciplined there, but that's all good. So Wales with the line out just outside the 22 of the French. And we win that ball, and Faletau takes it into Webb, who gets tackled. Thoughts on the Wales kits? If you're a Liverpool fan, you may have other thoughts on it. Starkey says Wales looking a lot sharper right now. Absolutely, they are. I was generally quite worried coming into this one. In the Six Nations, we weren't great, and we look a lot better. Nice cup, says Reece J. Do you know what? I'll tell you a story about this cup. When I moved into the flat that I'm currently in, the last person left a lot of cups, a lot of glasses, a lot of plates, a lot of knives and forks, just left a lot of things basically. And the glasses have cows on them and say moo on them. The mugs are all cat ones, except for the one that I've got, which is actually a football one for about 5-year-olds. So when I have people over, I just have to quickly explain that and say, these aren't my actual choices. They were just here, so I'm just using them. So don't judge me on my mugs too much. But yeah. So Wales with a penalty here, Bigger to take it. Wales very dominant at the minute, and we'll be 10-0 up with just under 7 minutes gone. Do I support a footy team? Yes, I do. I support the Swans. We drew today 1-1 against Bristol City. Bit frustrating because we were 1-0 up until about the 83rd minute and they got a penalty, which is a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. And do you know what? I don't know about promotion this season. I don't think we're quite there yet. But there we go. I do have a football channel. If you'd like to check that out, you're more than welcome to do that. I'll put a link to that in the chat, and I'll also put Kyle's channel link in as well in just a second before I forget to do that. That'll be quite important, that's for sure, for me to do that. So here's the channel link for the football channel. If you would like to check that out, you're more than welcome to do that. Recently had a chat with members of Real Football Club who have started a football club after their old team had to disband due to problems with COVID, which would be very frustrating. Now, let me put Kyle's channel link in so you can go and check that one out. Onto the bit of possession here now. That's Kyle's channel for you to check out, but very, very messy at the minute. Not much organisation coming from the French. I mean, we saw so much good stuff from France, and we really want to see it again. World Rugby is a better place with a good French team. It's just a fact for me personally. So I'd like to see France, having a go here, but they also need to keep their discipline. And Sean Edwards will be very disappointed with how they've started so far with their defence. Time for some pizza. Well, Bigger's gone down here injured. This is not a good sight at all. He wasn't touching anyone at all. He was nowhere near anyone. When people go down, when there's been no contact, it's usually quite a worrying sight. Just watching it back here. Oh, his knee goes. You see it. Or his ankle. I'm not too sure which one, but he's got ice on it. He's in pain. Quite considerable pain. If I'm Pivac, you take him off. If I'm Pivac, you take him off. Reese J says he subscribed. Absolutely appreciate that. I think I know who you're supporting. I will get to your comment in a second, Kyle. Bigger has run it off. I don't know how I feel about that. Do you take him off just because of an injury, just out of concern? I don't know. I ain't a doctor. I don't know. Wales win the line out and Webb will clear. Kyle puts this question in. No, that's the wrong one. What's the point in them warming up with masks on? I mean, it's the same thing that we had with the national anthems, isn't it? They're all socially distanced. When in the Ireland-Italy game they were, and then they're literally smashing lumps out of each other. They didn't do that in this game. I think it's just to make it look like they're doing it properly. I think that's what it is, really. And Nick says this, it's really interesting. Big is the best 10 we've got by far, but giving Patch some time is not a problem. I think Patchell is massively underrated. And, you know, I think Bigger is brilliant. We've actually now got 5 decent fly halves. So I'll name them for you. So you've got Bigger, who probably starts most games. You got Anscombe, who's currently out injured, so he would start as well. Patchell, then. You got Sheedy at Bristol, who will probably get capped at some point. And then, of course, you got Jared Evans at the Cardiff Blues, who was not even included in this squad. So a lot of really good players. IB tends to agree with me. Reece Patchell is dodgy. I disagree. I really like Reece Patchell. I think he's come on leaps and bounds over the past couple of years. When Scarlets last won the Pro 14, he was world class. He was so good. And that was under Pivac. So if Pivac can get the same out of the likes of Foxy, out of Patchell, out of all the Scarlets boys as he did then in this Wales team, it'd be absolutely brilliant. But an interesting opening 10 minutes here. Very interesting opening 10 minutes. But France really have not got going at all. Here. So we'd like to see that change if we can. To see them starting to play that a little bit more. That would be fantastic if we could see that. Oh, I've just completely missed the French try. Nice one, Brandon. I was just concentrating on something else. I do apologise. France have scored a try here. Comes from the ruck. I think it's Untamak who breaks through. Ball inside then to Dupont, who gets tackled. It's a good tackle, recovery tackle by Webb. And they simply just go through the phases. Pops pick up the ball. There's an advantage coming, and he just powers over. And Webb is not going to stop him. He is massive. So France have got a response here after 12 minutes. And it should be an easy conversion for Untamak. It should be a very easy conversion, in fact. Here we go, Untamak for the conversion, which he has succeeded. I apologise, I cannot pronounce your name, but have Ireland enough to beat France next week? Well, it's an interesting one, isn't it? Because They were pretty clinical today, but again, Italy were very poor. Italy was so ill-disciplined. I could not believe how ill-disciplined they were. Simply not at the level. And we're going to chat a bit about that probably at half time. Um, but yeah, they just simply were not at the races. Absolutely were not at the races. And so it's hard to gauge where Ireland are at the minute. But I thought there were some really good performances across the field, and they'll be really, really encouraged by that. But still, some very, very frustrating performances from Italy. But it's going to be interesting next week. Of course, Wales have nothing to play for. They play Scotland. France play Ireland and England play Italy. England really are in pole position to win this year's Six Nations, and you would expect them to get the job done. Wales getting the penalty. Aldridge coming in from the side there. Gregor is confident that they're going to get the result against the French next week. Again, the other big issue is there's no fans at the ground. And so the impact that fans would usually have, first at the Principality or Millennium as everyone calls it really, fans play a huge role for us. They play a massive role. And in Paris, in Stade de France, if France are playing well, the fans are great. If they're playing bad, you certainly know about it. And the team, the fans can really turn on the team. We've seen that over the past few years that they do. Wales with the line out here, though, just inside the 22 of the French. Ryan Elias finds Corey Hill. And Wales start the driving more. France trying to disrupt it a little bit here. And France have stolen it and have the advantage now. Ringrose is ruled out for 6 weeks, I believe it is. He's ruled out with a jaw injury, so it looks like Henshaw Farrell with Aki. That'll be interesting to see that one. But somehow we have the penalty in this one. I don't understand how, but we do. So what's going to be the choice? Bigger chatting to Alan Wynn. They're going for the post. I think that's the right decision at this point. Just keep the scoreboard ticking if we want to win this one. We keep the scoreboard ticking for sure. So Wales decided to take the points here. Bigger seems to have shaken off that injury from earlier on. And he's converted it 13 points to 7 then. Wales fans, how do we summarise the opening 20 minutes or so? What are we thinking? Are we happy with how we're doing so far? And if there's any French fans watching, let me know your thoughts. And if you're any other fan, let me know your thoughts on how things have gone so far. What do you think of the opening 20 minutes? And nearly halfway through this first half already. So if you're new here, subscribe and all that good stuff. Follow my socials. I will link them in the chat in just a second for you to go and check out. That'll be fantastic. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed so far. I really appreciate it. It's brilliant that you have decided to subscribe and join the family here at Brandon Smith Rugby. We are pushing towards 1,000 subscribers. I know it's a long way away, but you guys have been smashing it recently. It's a very strange, quiet Stade de France. The thing with Italy is they did play well, but were so poor defensively in open play. But to score 2 tries were positive for them. Yeah, I think it was. But again, ill-discipline. And as Kyle said in his review, if you haven't checked it, check it out on his channel. I've linked his channel in the chat. As he said, The problem is that they get to about 60 minutes and then that's it then. And either the fitness isn't there or the bench isn't there. The quality on the bench to come off and make an impact is not there. So that's a massive frustration for them. I did think the number 10 today showed glimpses of some quality, being only 20 years old as well to make his debut. Must have been pretty daunting, but he did pretty well. So yeah, but Italian rugby is very frustrating at the minute. You also say Ringrose is a big loss, but Chris Fowle can fill that void. Absolutely, he can. You know, Ireland have depth. IB says that we started better than what I expected. Absolutely, and France France will have patches of this game where they will dominate because they are that good a side. But you know, if we can get our points and get our lead up as high as possible, then that will be very important for us because France will have patches in this game where they will dominate. That's for sure. So France with a little bit of possession here. So a bit of loose ball going on at the minute. Not really ideal. But, you know, France not really going anywhere at the minute, so I wouldn't be too concerned about this at all. So France camped in. Oh no, Wales have got the penalty. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Wales have got the penalty, so France get absolutely zilch from that attack. Nick says Tippett is looking to top the tackle count tonight. Well, let's see. It'll be between him and Alan Wynne, I'd assume, to see who gets the most tackles. What I'd like to see is Tippett play more in the loose. That's what he's so good at. That's what we know he can do, and that's what we want to see from him. That's when Tippett is at his best, is when he's playing in the loose. There's no point in being playing and doing all the defensive work because, you know, Navidi will be back, you'd assume, so he will do the job for that. France are still a young team with the young internationals. I think it'll be tight. The loss to Scotland killed their momentum. I do think this game's going to be tight. I do, as I said, I expect France to come into the game and do something. But I also agree. France do have a young team. They've got some good young players. Dupont and Mark are very, very exciting young players. You know, right at the start of the career, and if they can really get things right over the next few years, 2023 World Cup, it could be theirs to win. Really, it could be theirs to win. So Wales really controlling the game well. That's what's impressed me. We haven't felt needed to rush in the defence at all. We haven't felt needed to start doing ridiculous things. We've been patient. We've taken our opportunities. And on the whole, our defence has been very good. That try is a hard one to stop. You know, it's a hard one to stop. So far, so good from a Wales point of view. Just a reminder that at half time, we do take a quick break here on the channel for like 2 minutes, literally 2 minutes. Gives me an opportunity to stop and to relax a little bit, but also gives you guys an opportunity to get your snacks, get your drinks, anything else that you need. Yeah, it gives you an opportunity to do that. So thoughts so far, folks, get your thoughts in the comments. What do you make of it so far? Who have you been impressed with Wales? Who's been the standout player so far? who's really caught your eye and who maybe you think needs a big game in this game? I think George North needs a big game. I think he needs a big game. I'm quite surprised. Well, I'm not surprised that he started just because of his experience, etc. I don't think it's fair to throw Rees Zammit in, but I still think that he needs a big game today. Just really to get his confidence up more than anything, in my opinion. So yeah, he needs to get his confidence up and to really start to play once again and be confident. But Wales here will be very happy so far. And saying that, we've messed up a line out, so that's great, isn't it? So France decide to take it quickly, tap and go from Dupont, and the forwards get onto the ball. France trying to offload here, and Ficou could go through. Dupont changing the direction, trying to go himself, tackled, gets the offload. But Wales managed to hold them out. Dupont here. There's a lovely little dart from the Frenchman. He's tackled, it's a high, and they've come back for the penalty, I believe. So an obstruction there. So Wales will get the penalty. But France showing what they can do. A little glimpse there of what they can do when they get their shit together. So France's ill discipline is a little bit of an issue. 6 penalties conceded so far from France in the opening 25 minutes, only 1 from Wales. So Wales been fairly disciplined at the minute, which is really good to see. So Wales currently leading 13 points to 7, 25 minutes gone here. It's been a decent first start to our autumn games. It's our first games back. But I'd like to see us have a go more. We haven't really had much of the ball. France actually have had a lot of the ball so far. I'd like us to see having a little bit more of the ball. If we could have a little bit more of the ball, then that would make a massive difference for us. France making a lot of mistakes here. But they're really tearing us apart in places. 10 missed tackles already from us. It will be a little bit of a concern. One of the things France still have that hinders them is that they always have that one hothead who plays dirty and lashes out. I'd be surprised if that doesn't continue next week. Yes, they can be typically French in a way where they're playing brilliantly for 60 minutes and one moment like that, boom, whole thing collapses. And hopefully Sean Edwards can put that little bit of discipline into him there. Wales here coming forward, Alan Wynne-Jones with the ball. Fantastic day for him. What a legend he's been for us. What a legend he's been for us. Ball turned over here. Well, a lot of little mistakes creeping into the game here. A lot of knock-ons, a lot of little silly mistakes. There's no real flow to the game, it feels like. France dominate for a tiny bit of the game, and then all of a sudden it breaks up. Wales get a bit of the ball, and then it breaks up again. Ryan Elias getting a little bit of treatment, but I think he's okay. Enjoying that food? Oh, yeah. I've had a long day at work, so getting in, watching the rugby, having a bit of food, absolutely. And let me know in the comments down below who's impressed you for Wales in this first half an hour. Who would you like to see get on the ball more? And what would you like to see before half time as well? Because half time is only 10 minutes away now. So what would you like to see? Let me know in the chat. Ryan Elias seems to be struggling a little bit in the scrum here, which could be seen as a little bit of a worry. But France with the scrum here, just over the halfway line. Dupont takes out, finds Untamack out to Vakatawa. First time we've seen him on the ball, but Tompkins takes him down comfortably. The France do make a lot of meters, don't they? They do make a lot of meters. There's some good tackling and some good defence here from the boys as well. Wales have actually pushed France back here a couple of metres from where they originally started the move. Here we go, and Smart. There's an opportunity if they can go wide here. Vakatawa. He's got Teddy Thomas outside. It's a lovely offload. Teddy Thomas into Japan, and this is going to be a try, and it's a brilliant try from France. And that's the type of rugby we know that France can play. We know they can play that type of rugby. Brilliant. And I spoke about Vakatawa before, spoke about Dupont before. Really, really impressive try from France. Untamack plays out. Vakatawa draws in. I think it's Josh Adams. Yes, he does. Teddy Thomas then gets the ball and fires it in to Dupont, and it's actually a very, very good score. IB says, I'm impressed with Webb. He seems to be controlling the forwards well. I want to see Fallatin on the ball more in France. Yes, France have just scored. Starkey, just really expressed why I say marvellous rugby. Absolutely. It was actually a really, really good try. Well worked, drawing the man in, waiting for the pass, running straight, and then Dupont, with what any good scrum half does, offers that support line. And doesn't look as comfortable now, does it? And that's what France can do. When they can click and get it right, they really get it right. And it's really attractive to watch. And as I said, it's French. A good French team is good for World Rugby. I really believe that. I think it's important that they're competing for the Six Nations every year against the likes of ourselves, hopefully, Ireland, England, dare I say Scotland, Kyle, dare I say, and competing against the likes of them. I think it's just good for rugby. So Untamack has added the 2 points. So France actually leading this one now, 14 points to 13. First time they've led in this one. So Bigger will kick us off once again here. Change for Wales here. Samson Lee is leaving the pitch, I assume for a little injury. Richard Kennedy says Penny is our best player. Really like Hoppy. I think he's developed defensively a lot over the past couple of years, which has added to his game. His goal kicking is one of the best in the world. He's so consistent. But Samson Lee has left. Dylan Lewis has come on. An injury concern, I would assume, and probably that's the end of the game for Samson Lee. But 7 minutes to go until half time. France leading this one 14 points to 13. But again, it's about the performance, and France, it's important that we don't concede before half time. If we can hold them out before half time, then we can regroup and go again in the second half. But Wales get the ball back. And Bigger will look to run this one. Good hands from Wales here. Quick ball, which is good, and Rhys Carre's knocked it on, and it's a very simple mistake. Now Olivon finds Aldrit, tackled by Wainwright. Ball comes out here to Boutier to Ficou has cut through, and Vakatawa's through, and this has surely got to be a try. Dupont's in, and it's a lovely try once again. And honestly, France are throwing the ball about here. It's really, really good rugby, and as a Welshman, it's frustrating, yes, but you can only appreciate it, and it all comes from that Rhys Carre mistake. When he knocks it on, it's a silly little mistake. It's unnecessary. It should be an easy catch, and France get the ball. It's quick ball. It's easy, and the ball comes out. Ficou, beats Tipuric, fires out the line, and he doesn't really need to. If he gets that right, it's a brilliant tackle. If he doesn't, it's not great. It's then into Vakatawa. Vakatawa from there just has the knowledge and the understanding and the awareness. Dupont is inside of him, and Dupont's got a second. And we spoke about in the preview on the Welsh Rugby Roundup show, myself and Rian. We said, look, if Dupont is firing, if Ntamak and Vakatawa is firing, France is going to be dangerous. 19 points to 3 here. And for the second part of this first half, France have deserved it. France have been the better side. They've instigated the attacks. They've had the possession. And this is what we know they can do. Not Vakatawa. And Smack has added the 2 points. So it's 21 points to 13 now. So very, very impressive from France. There's some really good attacking rugby. Wales looking to retain it from the possession, but Thomas has claimed that one. I did say we needed to hold them out until half time, and now it's a very different team talk, you feel. Just 3 minutes to go now until half time. What will be the plan from Wales? For France, the second part of this, Kyle, sexy rugby. It is. And, me and Kyle did a preview for this, and we said, look, we know that if France can click, they can play beautiful rugby. I don't want England to win. I think that's a Welsh thing in many ways, but no, it'd be interesting to see next weekend. But the thing is, we haven't played badly. It's just been little mistakes. That Tipuric there, it's a knock on, and then if Tipuric doesn't step out the line, but if he does step out the line and he gets that tackle, it's a brilliant tackle. So you can't really argue with that. Interesting comment here. I think Wales should be very worried with their defence going forward, conceding more tries this season than the last. I'm not concerned about this defence because the tries have just been really, really good rugby. That's all it's been. The tries, that second try, as I just explained there, if typically doesn't step out. If we don't knock that ball on, they don't score. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. If we don't knock the ball on, France don't score there. But it's really good rugby from France. It's good awareness from all their players. And Fiku is over the ball here. He's turned it over. That's a brilliant steal from him. And France are really asserting their dominance here physically and just the better team. Wales putting up a lot of high balls but not dealing with them well. Bit of a kicking contest going on at the minute. And two players have just run into each other. Same players, same country. And that's a lovely kick from Smack, I believe it is. And into the 22 they go. Do you think Wayne Pivac, I think that's meant to be Pivac, can win it? Yes, it is meant to be Pivac. Win this game? Yes. Win the Six Nations? It's impossible. So no, the Autumn Nations Cup, I wouldn't back us to win it. We're in a transitional phase at the minute. We're still trying to understand how this team's going to play. We saw that against Ireland in the Six Nations where defence was all over the place, but we were showing glimpses of what we could do going forward. I still think he's trying to work out his best team, to be honest. You know, he's brought in a lot of youngsters, so we just have to wait and see. Wales' line-out is not on point. It absolutely is not. It certainly isn't. So just before half-time here, we'll have the final play here, and then we'll take a 2-minute break. Don't go anywhere. We will be back. You can keep the chat going. Grab some drinks, grab some snacks ready for the second half. And I'll take a lot more of your questions. So if you want some questions answered during half-time, any questions that you want to ask at all, fire away in the comment section. I'll try and get to them over the time that we have together. But France, Wales with a scrum here. Interesting to see if we're going to try and play it or if we're going to yeet it out. No, the Six Nations is not cancelled, so they postponed it and they're finishing it. So we had Ireland against Italy today. Ireland winning that one, 50 points, 17. And then we have the remainder of the fixtures next weekend. Wales against Scotland, England against Italy, and then France hosting, playing against Ireland. Not sure they're hosting that one, but scrum here for Wales. And Bigger says, enough is enough. It is half time. France leading this one. There we go. So France leading this one 21 points to 13. I'm going to jump off for 2 minutes. I'll be back very, very shortly. Keep getting your questions in the chats, your thoughts on that first half. What do Wales need to do better? What have France done well? Who's been your standout players? And we'll be back very, very soon. So don't go anywhere. It is half time. It's 21-13 to France. Make sure to be subscribed. We'll be back in a sec. I was muted. Oh dear, great start. What a first half, though. An interesting first half. Get your thoughts in the comments. Going to have a look through some of them now. Welcome to everyone who's just joined quickly. Ewan says Wales don't really have any breakdown threats. We do not. And it's been an interesting one. I do think France have played well and they've dominated possession, but most of their tries have generally come off mistakes that we've made. But we started very brightly, really good first try. France's defence all over the place, Halfpenny getting in there. And yeah, very, very good to see that one. Reece J says, good first half. It is a good first half indeed. If you are new here, do subscribe to all those who have just joined. Make sure to hit that subscribe button. If you watch on Facebook, follow the pages. That'll be awesome. You're welcome to do that. Jacobus says this. What is everybody's opinion about South Africa franchises joining the Pro 14? That's an interesting question, which we'll get to in just a second. But a very interesting first half. France showing how to play rugby. France absolutely throwing the ball about beautifully, playing some really, really beautiful rugby, attractive rugby, and rugby the way that it should be played, in my opinion. And they've really impressed me. First part of the first half, of course, Wales were dominant. We were the better side. But France have shown in the second half that they are capable of really performing in this game. The style of play that they want to play. And we're just looking at some of the tries back here. Bailly got the first try here. Dupont breaking through there, and then it was the prop. He's massive, and I don't think Webb was really going to stand a chance against him for this one at all, was he? He didn't really stand much of a chance, but you know, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. We're just showing a incident between Alan Wynne-Jones and Bernard LaRue, where LaRue seems to grab his neck ever so slightly around the neck. Now, if that had been spotted by the TMO, you'd think that that could potentially be a red card incident, and that shouldn't really be happening, should it? Especially as this Alan Wynne's been big day, isn't it? So you shouldn't wreck it for him. He's like a god here in Wales. But let me know thoughts on the first half, folks. What did Wales do well? What did we not do so well? What did France do well? And what do France maybe need to do to improve in the second half? What have we got for food today? Well, I've got the pizza, of course, pepperoni pizza. Got the juice, got the Skittles. We're ready to go. We're just looking back at Dupont's first try here. It's a lovely ball. Vakatawa out wide. Feeds Teddy Thomas with a lovely offload. And the defence is all over the place, really. And it's a fantastic try from Dupont. Dupont, it's a brilliant support line from Dupont. That's what every good scrum half will do, is there'll be support. They'll be there. And they'll be there to jump onto any opportunity that they get. This is a question that I get a lot. Are you actually showing the game? No, I'm not. That is against the law. It is copyright. All it is a watch along. People get involved in the chat. It's about bringing rugby fans together. You can chat rugby, chat about the game. So if you want to, as an option, you can simply put the game up on the side. On the side, you can have me on. We can have a chat. We can chat about the game, and we can enjoy each other's company while watching rugby. So I don't show any games on any watch-alongs. I cannot do that. Domino's just arrived finally. Not for me personally, but for you. Brilliant. Speaking about Domino's, I might order another pizza. Is that being greedy? I don't know. Thank you very much, Gregor. Gregor, I'm going to message you in just a second, just ask you to do something if that's okay, mate. So yeah, it's going to be interesting. So yeah, Gregor, I'll ping you a message now over Facebook. If you'd be kind enough to read that, I'll try and get that sorted. So half time here then, late kickoff, obviously in Paris. So let's have that conversation now about the South African teams potentially joining the Pro 14. Of course, 4 teams, I believe, have been mentioned to potentially be joining in the Pro 14. So yeah, we need to discuss this because I think it's quite important. Okay, Greg, I've just pinged you a message, mate. Jacob says this one. I pretty much agree with you, mate. Talking to Nick, down here we wanted the Super 12, but the Pro 14 will suffer the same problems by oversaturating the tournament. I agree with that. You know, what it used to be was, of course, the Celtic League. So you had the 4 Welsh regions, you had the 4 Irish sides, the 2 Scottish sides, and I think there were 2 Italian sides. Of course, you had Treviso for one. Now, there was a team before Zebra. I can't remember what they were called. And that's all you had. That's all you had. And it worked. It worked as the Pro 12 or as the Celtic League or whatever you wanted to call it. So I don't really understand. I didn't understand the South African link in the first place. It didn't make sense to me. It's always interesting. It's a nice trip to go to South Africa, let alone it's expensive though. But I would be more interested in looking at leagues in Europe that you could potentially look at. So there were talks about, I know someone on the chat yesterday for the Scotland-Georgia game said maybe put a team from Georgia in the competition and give them the opportunity. There's a team in Tbilisi who win the league every year. Give them the opportunity to play in the league. But then, there are other leagues, of course, across Europe that you could look to invest in and look to grow. But the South African link, I don't understand it. It messes with international fixtures a lot of the time as well. And it's just very confusing. So I personally am against it. I didn't see the point of it in the first place. It was obviously to do with money and marketing and trying to grow the appeal and get Southern Hemisphere viewers involved. So yeah, it's one of them things, isn't it? But yeah, absolutely. It's perfect. So half time here. What do we make of it? So currently Wales down 21 points to 13. Thank you so much for everyone that has tuned in today. It makes a massive difference and it really helps out the channel. So like the video, subscribe if you haven't already. It is massively appreciated. I really appreciate it. And to everyone who subscribed today, wow, thank you so much. Thank you. It means a lot. Okay. Jacobus says New Zealand backed out of Super Rugby as they forced our union to look elsewhere. It's very true, unfortunately. I miss the Tri Nations too. I like the fact that Argentina are in it, but South Africa have pulled out. Jacobus, I'm interested to get your opinion on South Africa pulling out of the tournament. Of course, both teams are out on the pitch just now, and we will look at that in a second. But what are your thoughts about South Africa pulling out of the competition? Are you frustrated by that, or do you understand where they're coming from? Because they have so many players across the world, don't they? Okay, so the game has kicked off for the second half. So that is brilliant. Apologies about this, just a couple of admin bits needing to be done in the background here. There we go. I would like to welcome, of course, Gregor Galway. Gregor is now a moderator on the channel, so he's going to help out with different things on the channel. He's going to be helping out on just making sure the chat is good and everyone is enjoying themselves. I'm going to have to Google Translate that because I don't speak French. Let me see if I can actually translate this. I've got a French comment in the chat. It is an interesting game, yes, to the Frenchman watching. It is an interesting game, absolutely. It is. Jacobs just has answered. It was the right move, mate. Our guys only started playing 3 weeks ago. Local competitions. We had a lot of injuries and poor performances. Rassi said that we need at least 400 mins of game time. So you're in agreement with it. That's very interesting. Leilani, the second half has begun. Bigger with a penalty here for Wales to put us 4 points behind the French. IB, welcome back to the stream. Hope you're well. Hope you got your snacks and your drinks ready. So Bigger adds the 3 points. Indeed it is, Gregor. 21-16, France penalty by Bigger. So France still leading 21 points to 16. Very close this one, 5 points in it. 44 minutes gone, right at the start of the second half. And France have won the restart. Olivon tackled inside the 22. Dupont out wide. Here come the props. This is a very good restart from France. This would be a great response from them. Vakatawa is the option down the middle. Nick says, what is Wales and high balls tonight? Well, that is very true, isn't it? It is very true. We just can't cope with it. And France have knocked this one on. Thankfully, because he was through there. If he caught that, that's a try. That's a try. If he catches that, there's no one there. There's no one there. Well, Josh Adams kind of went for it. Ryan Elias went for it as well. I mean, Ryan Elias has struggled today. You know, again, defensively was not in the right position there. If Aldrit catches it, then that's that. You can watch the match via S4C. and you can watch it via the IT34 in the UK. I'm not sure where it is elsewhere in the world. We do not show the game here. It is simply a watch along. You can join in the chat, and if you can't catch the game, then this is probably your best bet to watch it. Yeah, Gregor, just reiterating what I said, ITV4 in the UK. Absolutely. So it's a scrum here, 2 Wales on their own try line. We'll be looking to clear this one. But I know Ryan Elias is inexperienced at this level, but he has struggled today, I feel. So Wales will look to clear their lines here. IB says this defence from Wales ain't as good as it used to be. Need to regain the confidence. I think it's simply the fact that we're changing the style of play. We're trying to play a different style. When you go from playing a very defensive based style, you're built on defence with Warren Gatland and Sean Edwards, to playing a very different style of rugby with Pivac. It is it is an issue. And it's going to take time. We just got to be patient. That's what I feel with this team. Absolutely. We've got to be patient. Teddy Thomas here taking the ball. Great tackle by Tipperick. Aldridge with the black eye now. Ball out wide here. Here comes Olive on. And Ryan Elias gives away another penalty. And it's an unnecessary penalty as well. It's just not necessary. And fans go for the posts on this one. Interesting comment here from Jacobus. Feels weird without fans. Obviously, sorry, wrong one. It feels weird playing without fans. Absolutely does. And it is an issue in the game, of course. Nick says he guesses it's fine not to throw straight throw to the front. Well, yeah. Less said about that, the better, probably. So it is Untamak to add 3 points to make the gap a little bit easier for the French to make it up to 8 points. So Wales will have to get a try and convert and get a penalty. And Untamak is successful, and the French lead here 24 points to 16. I'm afraid I cannot do that. This is simply a watch along. It is simply a watch along. So you can join in the chat, have banter, whatever, but I can't do that because S4C, French rugby, Welsh rugby will have something to say about me. So I cannot do that. That's why it's called a watch along, not a live stream. A live stream is the game. A watch along is a watch along. Okay. But currently it is France leading this one. Like I said, kindly put up 24 points to 16. Nearly 50 minutes gone in this one. What changes would people like to see off the bench? When do we see Louis Rees-Zammit? Do we see him? When do we see him? Let's take a look at who we've got on the bench quickly. I'll put it up on the screen and we can have a look at who we believe is worth having on. And let's put it up for you now. Here it is. So on the bench, we have Sam Parry, Nicky Smith, Dylan Lewis has already come on for Samson Lee. Seb Davis, James Davis is very good in the loose, Cubby Davis. We then have Gareth Davis at scrum half. Reece Patrick can play fullback or fly half, and Louis Zammit, of course, is the exciting player that we would like to see. Who out of them players would you like to see, and what impact will they have on the game? Is there someone you would pull off who has had a poor game, or would you think, do you know what, it doesn't matter, it's about these players getting an opportunity to play once again? Jacobson says it is amazing how quickly France turned it around. If you look back post 2011, they were really not great, but they've definitely made the right moves regarding coaching staff and players. And I think they have done that. They've taken the team of the under-20s who were so successful, and they've taken that forward. And that is absolutely fantastic. And they trusted in you. They trusted in a team that's been successful. Why would you change that? France attacking once again here. Vakatawa has knocked it forward though, and Wales will get the advantage. Rugby without fans, yeah, it is tough. Everyone is called Davis. Everyone is called Davis. I think there's like 4 Davises or something ridiculous like that. But let me know, what changes would you like to see? Who would you like to see come on? Who's going to have the impact? Who's going to change the game around for Wales? Do we give Patchell some game time? Does Louis Rees-Zammit come on? And again, high balls, man. We just can't deal with it. And Gregor says a fantastic point here, Gregor. Love this. France won the last 2 under-20s World Cups. Maybe that is where the system is. Exactly. You go with what works and you make sure that you stick with that. And it's worked. It's worked, man. It's worked for them. So Wales going to the corner here. Half an hour to go in this one. Offside from the French. And Bigger's reached touch, but I don't think he kicked that so well. How was Halfpenny so far? He's had a quiet game. He scored a try to start with, so not that quiet. He's got a try to start with, but then hasn't really been in the game. But France have just dominated possession, really, and have been playing the better rugby. But we're still in it. That's the thing. We're still in this one. Ryan Elias will look for someone in the lineouts. He finds Wainwright. Faletau. Oh, that's forward. That's got to be forward. Ref says no. The ball is there. Wales deciding to go for the pick and go here. Next score is crucial in this game, you feel. Next score is crucial. If France score, it's going to be tough for us to get back into it. But if we score, we're 1 point behind with a converted try. Faletau out to Dylan Lewis. Dylan Lewis going for the line, and he can't quite get it to Josh Adams, and the ball will go out. It seems that most professional teams have been moving away from impact players and towards consistency. Rossi proved its benefits with a bomb squad. It's true. It is very true. For Wales, maybe not so much. There's 1 or 2 players who I think are just picked. And I think they were just picked because they were close to Gatland, or Gatland had trusted them from like 3 years before or whatever. Hopefully with Pivac, we don't see that much. And let's take the case of George North, for instance. The guy is not playing well at the minute. The reason he's not playing well, in my opinion, is because he's a confidence player. He needs confidence. James Davis has come onto the pitch now. That is a change that has happened for Wales. So we have had a change here. So that change has been done. But yeah, as I was saying, we weren't really using the correct players, to be honest. And we have to use the correct players. If they're playing well, they deserve to play. They should play, in my opinion. So next score is crucial in this one. So James Davis is on. Wales have lost, though, 2 of their lineouts today. And France have not lost any. Ryan Elias has had a shaky game. I think he's just nervous. That's what I get the sense of in this one. But we do win that one. Typical winning that one. Webb into James Davis, straight away into Tompkins. Good to see James Davis playing again. Had a couple of injury issues a couple of years ago, maybe a year ago. It's good to see him back on the pitch again. Webb into Faletau. Again, we just seem to be going into the contact, not really doing much. Jonathan Davis puts the high ball up, but this is going to be, I'd assume, claimed pretty easily. And it's knocked on by Wales, and it'll be a scrum to the French. Kyle says, Starkier says this, Dupont running the show here. He's just shown his quality scrum half, probably one of the best scrum halves in Europe at the minute. Nick says Halfpenny has had a few good moments, but he did his usual run straight into the most opposition players, hold on and give away a penalty. And the high ball just has not worked tonight, so that hasn't really been an option for him either. I think some in France do miss the era Tranduc, Huget, Guirado anymore. Do not, sorry, great young team they have. Oh, absolutely. And as I said, World Cup 2023 is in France. It'd make a lot of sense if they stick with this team. This partnership, Untamak, Dupont, Vakatawa, and Ficou, that four there is so important for them going forward. And if they can nail that and really build their team around that, then they'll be a really good side. I heard people say Dupont's the next Feu Dupree. This is sacrilege. He's very good though. Dupont just has that instinct. He senses something and he does it and he goes for it. And he's technically brilliant. He controls the game. He's vocal. He's a leader, and he has it all, in my opinion. Gregor reiterates what everyone else has been saying. The French halfbacks have absolutely controlled the game, and they control the team. And they do have good links between each other. Yes, they do. France with the penalty here, just before halfway. 4 changes coming on for France now, so I will try and get them for you properly if I can do that. So they'll have to wait a second before they manage to come on. I think North, for the first time, has pretty much touched the ball here. Gareth Davis is on the pitch as well for Rhys Webb, so that's another change that has happened here. So Rhys Webb off, Gareth Davis on for Wales. So we'll see what impact he can have on the game. See if he can speed the game up a little bit, which he seems to be trying to do. But the game is still in the balance. It's still in the balance. You know, even though France have really dominated and really impressed me, we're still in this, aren't we? Jacobo says it's very funny how Wales are struggling under the high ball, considering they used to dominate this facet of the game. Leeburn used to be world class at this. The high ball would be an absolute joy for us and would work so well, especially for him. But I don't know anymore. So nearly 60 minutes on the clock. The changes are beginning to come in. Of course, it's a friendly, so they can, I believe, make as many changes as they want to. They could really empty the whole bench if they'd like to do that. Halfpenny getting a little bit of treatment. So Julien Marchand is off for France with Camille Char replacing him. Cyril Bailly is off for France with Jean-Baptiste Gross replacing him. And Mohamed Hawass is also off with Demba Bamba replacing him. So a whole new front row for the French has just come on. Olivon also getting some treatment here. Wales, Sam Parry is on. Sam Parry getting his first cap. Congratulations to Sam Parry on getting his first cap. It'll be a very proud moment for him. Well done to him. He has got his first cap. He's a Wales international, and you can never take that away. Wilma Tuifavoni is on for Willems for France. So a lot of changes going on. So hopefully we can help you with that. Nick Production says this: Liam Williams is being missed. I feel, well, he was actually released from the squad because he wasn't match fit, but then played for the Scarlets against Benetton. So I don't know what we read into that. Corey Hill playing scrum half here. And the ball is all over the place at the minute. Faletau having to sort out our mistakes here. And France have turned this one over. No, they have not. Coming over the side of the ruck, I believe, there from Olivon. And Wales will have the penalty. But, I mean, I'm not really sure what's going on, to be honest. It's a bit all over the place, this one. France are certainly dominating this one, really are. Here we go, though. James Davis crashes over Paul Ntamack. Lovely ball there. Bigger. Oh, lovely ball into Josh Adams. Josh Adams through the gap. Tackled, though, just outside the 22. And he needs support here. And off his feet from France. Bernard Leroux has gone down here, holding onto his elbow, it seems. So what do Wales need to do, folks? What do we need to do to get the result here? Let me know in the comments. If you were Pivac, what would you be saying to the players on the pitch? And who would you look to bring on? Let me know. It's time for some Skittles, though. Wales deciding to go for the posts here. He's missed. He's missed. Not the hardest kick in the world either, was it? So halfway through this second half now. Disappointing to miss that one. I'm surprised we haven't seen Rhys-Samit yet. I don't know how concerned Pivac is about getting the result. I don't know what his mindset is, of course. You said Dupont has the instinct. This little fellow is always at the right place, no matter what the situation. Yes, he is. He just is, isn't he? He's just got that attacking instinct. Tompkins trying the little kick through, and it's Dylan Lewis running after it. And it's actually a decent tackle there. By Gareth Davis. Dupont will look to clear his lines here. Rare miss pen from Bigger. Yes, it is. It's quite an important score. I felt again. Next score is critical in this game. If France get a try, I say game over. If we can get a penalty or get a try or whatever, game on for sure. Again, we're not competing in the air. And France just seem to have the run of the play, really. Just a little bit messy at the minute, isn't it? France struggling a bit under the high ball. I say both teams are now. Alan Wynne-Jones hasn't been particularly vocal this game, needs to show some leadership. I'm interested to get Wales fans' opinions on this, though. Are you concerned about the performance, about the results, sorry, or is it more about the performance? Because for me personally, I'm all about the performance. Yes, I'd like us to win. Of course I would. You know, I'm Welsh. I want us to win every game, but I'm more about the performance, giving players an opportunity. I'm so happy that Sam Parry has come on. I'd love to see Patchell come off the bench and get 20 minutes. And guess who's just come onto the pitch? Louis Rhys-Samit is a Wales international. Now, let you tell me something. This kid is quick. So, I think, well, Halfpenny's gone off. Patchell is on. So, who's gone to fullback? He's here. He's here. So, Louis Rhys-Samit is on. We know that. But I'm a bit confused who's playing where at the minute. I hope he's not playing fullback. Unless they're playing Josh Adams at fullback. Wales with a very dominant scrum here. Advantage to Wales. And we'll get the penalty, and that's a massive penalty. Great scrum by Wales. Good scrum, says Mr. Waters. So Patrol's gone to fullback. Halfpenny's come off. Louis V. Sam is playing on the wing. Bigger stays at 10. There you go. So I asked the question, what do Wales need to do? Yeah, thank you for clearing that one up, Nick. Appreciate that. This is what Jacobus believes Wales need to do. Wales need to be more patient and trust their structures, go through the phases and check for sneaky offload. Interesting. Sounds like a French plan at the minute, to be honest. So if Wales get this kick now, you feel we're back in the game for sure, and we're very much in this one. It's quite an easy kick straight out of the post, about 40 meters out or so. So he should really get this. And he's pulled it again. It's a shocking kick. Is it windy in Paris? Is there a magnet drawing the ball away from his boots? That's 2 on the bounce. And you think about confidence now. Does Patchell take the next kick? 2 misses for Wales. Indeed, Gregor Galway, you are right. I think Halfpenny needs to take over the kicking. Why isn't he doing it? He's gone off. He's gone off. That's why. Brain fart. But maybe Patchell takes it. Well, Bigger straight with the ball in hand. And you don't want him to lose confidence going for all the posts. But Sam Parry with the ball in hand. Advantage to Wales for the high tackle. 15 minutes to go in this one. Could be a nervy ending, this one, for sure. Just a reminder, I haven't reminded everyone, if you are watching and you have not subscribed yet, subscribe, guys. Please do, because it's free to do. Doesn't cost you anything. Keeps you up to date with absolutely everything that goes on the channel. We've got loads coming up over the next week. So there'll be a review of all the weekend's games on Monday night coming your way. On Tuesday, there'll be a review of the Pro 14 games because there's a Monday night game. Then later this week, Friday night, there'll be previews for this weekend, and we're hoping to get special guests onto each one, so from each nation can preview their own nation. And then, of course, we've got the watch-alongs next Saturday, and my plan is to do a watch-along for every single game going through the weekend. That is the plan. That's what we're hoping to do next weekend. So next Saturday, hopefully, we will be able to do that and you'll be able to join in that. So if you want to be updated with all that kind of stuff, subscribe, guys. Hit the notifications bell. It'd be awesome to have you along with us here on the Brandon Smith YouTube channel. So yeah, next weekend we will do a watch along all the way through. So the Wales game against Scotland kicks off at 2:15. Then the Italy against England one kicks off at 4:45. And then France host Ireland at 8:05. So hopefully we'll do a watch along all the way through the day. So join us for that. Who's winning? It is. I'll put the score in the chat for you now. France currently leading 24 points, 16. And it's in here. And Olivon is scoring for France. And well, that's game, set, and match, isn't it? Dupont. I said it. I fucking said it, didn't I? Oh, the Frenchman controlling the game. And France tried 29-19. Thank you so much. Knife through butter, try for France. And do you know what? That is exactly what France need. And those penalties are going to come back to bite us on the arse. They're going to come back to bite us on the arse. The ball gets free. Dupont bursts through, plays it into Olivon, and that's just what he does. And that's what we said about his instinct. His instinct, man, we just cannot deal with it. His instinct. Game over. High ball gone wrong. Again, it is game over. That's it now. We're not winning this one, unfortunately, but 5 tries in 5 games for Olivon. 31 points to 16 to France. Thanks, Reece J, for clarifying that one. But game over now. Josh Adams goes up for the high ball. Gets nowhere really near it. Teddy Tom, I'm not sure what Reece Sam is really doing. And then Dupont bursts through the gap. Olivon is there, and he's not going to miss from there. 13 minutes to go then. What do we want to see from these last 10 minutes? I would love to see Louis Rees-Zammit just get a bit of the ball. Give him the ball and just let him try something. Just let him have the ball in hand. Oh, that was close to being an interception. Oh, and George North picks it up. Is this an opportunity for Wales? Gareth Davis. What is Gareth Davis doing? Why did he take so long? What's he doing? Faletau pick and go. Wales looking to pick and go here, but I'm not sure why Gareth Davis tries to pick and go and what he's trying to do there. George North going for it, but it's stopped short. Faletau just held short. France trying to counter-ruck this one, but I think we've secured it. And we got the try. Wales get the try. Not sure who it is exactly. Nicky Thomas gets the try for Wales. I'm not saying it's a comeback yet. And Matt makes the mistake and Wales pick and go. And Nicky Smith crashes over. I mean, it's a try, but I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. Here comes the kitchen sink. I love that comment. So forget this. We are 8 points behind, so we still need to try and a penalty. A converted try and a penalty at least to win this game. He's missed it. He's missed it. And we're 10 points behind now. It's a little bit frustrating from Bigger's point of view, isn't it? I'd say so. Antoine Dupont has left the pitch, fucking finally. And Tamak will kick us off once again. Dupont has just been insane. I think I already know who my man of the match is going to be. I think Kyle puts an interesting comment here. Not that one. Wales look like they've lost ability to manage games with discipline right now. That ruthless edge which Gatland instilled deserted them at the moment. Yes and no. I also think you have to take into consideration that we have dropped, is it 9 points this evening from kicks, which will put us a point behind them. 8 points, sorry, on the pitch, which is very, very frustrating. Dan Bigger getting paid to throw the game. Hope not. Yes, 8 points left on the pitch from Bigger, but again, it's this new system. I've been encouraged by some things, but some things will certainly be need to work on ahead of Scotland next week. Camille Shah's hair is too long. We spoke about Hamish Watson's mullet yesterday, and me and Kyle were not in agreement that, you know, we weren't a fan of it. Let's be honest. We weren't a fan of it. Just under 8 minutes to go here, 8 minutes or so. Thank you if you've watched all the way through. You guys are legends. Fiku with a little kick through, looking for Teddy Thomas. But Bigger does get it. He's managed to stay in somehow, but then he throws it straight away to Olivon, I believe, or Aldreet. He's lost his confidence because he's doing stupid stuff now. There's no need to throw that offload there. Doesn't look like Louis Rees-Zammit is going to get much of the ball in this one, does it? Which is a little bit frustrating because that's what we wanted to see, man. We wanted to see him with ball in hand. And now France looks super confident and just throwing it about. Teddy Thomas tackled by Rees-Zammit. France, though, coming forward. We don't want to get another score here because it looks a little bit embarrassing. Teddy Thomas broken through. He's gone for the little chip kick. Oh, it's worked brilliant. Oh, that's an incredible try from France. And what a try from France that is. As a Welshman, all you can do is simply applaud. And that is jouer, play. That's how the French like to do it. It's an insane try. It's such a good try, man. He's picked off. It's a lovely offload. He's round the side, chips it over Dan Bigger, and he's in, and it's a brilliant try. Fabulous trip and take try from Teddy Thomas. This is how good France can be, and it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. This is how good they can be, and they just capitalize on mistakes that other teams make. And if they can just do this consistently, they will be such a good team. They've got so much talent in their team. But man, and Tamak will look to add the 2 here with just over 5 minutes to go. Game is certainly done, set, and match. Five tries conceded by Wales this evening. And Unter Max kicking boots have been insane this evening. He's added the 2. And France here have been so impressive. Bigger's off now. Reece Patchell comes on. And his first thing is to get the ball and be pushed over. Kyle with the big chat. Now, Kyle's a Scotsman. Sally, I fancy another team in blue to do one overviews next week. Now, we'll have to wait and see. Let's see if you're as confident after the final whistle next week. But that does throw out an interesting question. What needs to change ahead of next week? What are the issues that we're facing? Who's put their hand up for selection this evening? And who really hasn't? Jonathan Davis out here, out to Josh Adams. But Wales just really looking for pride here. And it's been frustrating because I'd like to, again, I know I've spoken a lot about him, but Reece Samit has not really had the ball. Speaking of Reece Samit, here he goes. Tackled, gets it into Gareth Davis. This is brilliant. Gareth Davis for the corner. Why the fuck did you not pass? You selfish guy. Wales decide to take it quick. Tompkins. And we've knocked it on. Oh my gosh. There's no communication, boys. But Reece Samit showing what he can do. I fucking said it, didn't I? Why am I not coaching the national side? I'm joking, by the way, before you jump on my back. But Reece Samit with the ball there, broke through, just as Misty Waters says here. First break from Reece Samit. Lovely offload into Gareth Davis. And Gareth Davis just needed to pass, man. He just needed to pass. Oh, 2 minutes and a half to go or so. Can we get anything at all just to give us a smile on our face to finish this one off? Patchell kicks. Please, let's not concede again. Jacobus says that it'll be interesting to see how France will cope when they play more physical teams, such as the All Blacks or Springboks. I don't know. They could actually do even better because, if they can find those pockets of space out wide, which you'd expect them to do with against more physical sides, then they could even do a bit better. This French team are scary. They're scary and they're young. They're only going to get better. That's the mad thing. They're only going to get better. So who's been the ones that have stood out to you? Who've been the ones that you've been impressed with? But the same defensive issues that were there last year seem to be there today, this evening. High ball, as Nick has pointed out many times this evening, has been a massive issue for us. It's been very, very frustrating. Oh man, it's been frustrating, hasn't it? But France have just deserved to win. You cannot take anything away from France. For 60 minutes of this game, they have been the better side. You cannot argue that. They've been the better side. They deserve to win this, and to be honest, to win it pretty comfortably. Wales decide to take the penalty quickly with just under a minute to go. Oh, just kick it out, George. And Wales do have the penalty. Well, I mean, who knows what we do now? France have had enough. They kick it off, and that is full time here. France winning this one and deservedly winning it by just simply being the better team. They were much the better team this evening. Lots of issues for Wales, you feel, but some encouraging signs along the way. But man, where did it go wrong this evening? Get your comments in the chat down below. Game over. Tompkins had a good game. George North won that race because he's hardly had a workout all game. Bit harsh, I think. He just has not had the ball, simply. He's not had the ball. Game over. That's right, Gregor. It is game over here. France winning this one. 38 points, 21. That is the game over. Congratulations to France. You deserved winners this evening. And yeah, game over indeed it is. But France deserves to win, man. France deserves to win. They were much the better side today. Much the better side. So there we go. My man of the match has got to be this man who's going to come on your screen now. Antoine Dupont absolutely controlled the game from start to finish. He was the best player by miles. He was so, so good. Don't go anywhere. We're going to stick around for 5 to 10 minutes just to chat about the game and our thoughts on what happened. So get your thoughts in the chat. Who played well, who did not play so well, what were the key moments of the game, and what do we need to do going forward? So a tough day for Wales at the office. Jacob says, imagine what the game would have looked like if Bigham made those kicks. Could have been a momentum shift, but yeah, France deserved to win. Absolutely did, and Dupont was very central to that. Scotland up next. Man, am I worried? A little bit, maybe. Pivak says, need to go thinking not good enough to manage a team like Wales. I mean, I think it's early to say things like that. Again, it's a new system, it's a new style. But defensively, there are issues there. Absolutely. We cannot pretend that there aren't issues, because there are. There are a lot of issues there. So yeah, there are a lot of issues there, for sure, with this squad, and a lot that needs to be worked on. So yeah, very, very frustrating game, really. But Scotland up next. It's going to be interesting to see how we go. Yeah, Scotland away. Scotland at home, sorry, my apologies. Next week, man. But there were positives, there were players who did put their hand up. I thought Webb played pretty well for a lot of the game. Obviously not as well as Dupont did for France. And then, of course, we had we had Louis Wissame, who got a little opportunity at the end there. It's frustrating, but as Greg has said, some teams are going through learning curves. Nick, thank you so much for joining this evening. Thanks for the stream. See you next week. Need more young blood in the starting 15. Interesting to see what they do. So yeah, next live stream, just for people to put a date in their diary. Subscribe if you haven't already. That's the way you'll be notified on the next stream. It is against Scotland against Wales next Saturday. I'm going to stream throughout the day, all 3 games in the Six Nations final weekend. Man, we should have finished this a long time ago. But next weekend, Wales against Scotland is the first one of the day. That's our 2:15, so we'll probably start the stream about 2 o'clock, and then we'll run through. We kick off for the Italy-England one at 5:15, and then France against Ireland at 8:05. So, what are we saying? What are we saying, guys? Enjoy the stream. Looking forward to the next one, mate. Yes. Thank you so much, Reese J, for watching. See you next week. Chris K, we'll see you next week. Love the community we're building here. Thank you so much. You guys are central to it. Central to it. Chris K, diolch mate. Diolch am gwylio. Nawn ni gweld chi wythnos nesa. Do you prefer Patchell or Halfpenny's fullback? Halfpenny. Halfpenny, without a doubt. Mark Phillips says referee missed some key infringement from the French. I mean, there was that one round the neck of Alan Wynne, which I would consider to be, not great at all. But, I mean, still, France was so much better than us. Wales can win the Scotland game, however, they need to be more clinical and take their chances. Yes, we do, absolutely. Diolch i ti, Rhys. Diolch yn fawr. Absolutely. Guys, just a reminder that Gregor is now a moderator on the channel, so he'll be helping out just to moderate the chat. So any problems you got, probably put a message in for Gregor and he'll help you out. Thank you, Gregor, for all you're doing for the channel. You've been here since pretty much day one, to be honest, and you always support the channel so much. So I massively appreciate you. So Alan Wynne is currently chatting away with the TV coverage, guys. Thank you very much for subscribing. I appreciate that. So any comments on the game, get them in the chat. But there we go. What I'm going to do now, I think, is I'm going to clock off this one. It depends. Do you guys want me to continue streaming for 5 to 10 minutes, or have you had enough? Because a few of you are clocking off, I know that. But I'm happy to stick around and chat with you guys about the game if you'd like that. Let me know in the chat what you'd like. If you want me to piss off and go to bed, then that's pretty fine by me. So the results of the day, we'll go through them shortly and just remind everyone of what's happened today. Mathieu Gombier, bonjour, ça va? Welcome. Great win for you guys, the French. Jacob says 5 to 10 minutes, mate. I will stick around then for 5 to 10 minutes. Gregor, thank you very much for watching. You're on 3% battery, mate. Jump off, get your phone on charge or whatever you're watching on. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. Jacobus asks, do you think the British and Irish Lions can win it? Kickoff draws ever closer. Will it happen? I mean, they're saying it's going to happen, of course, but we'll have to wait and see, man. But an interesting game, that's for sure. Oh, man, I don't know. Look, I'm happy that we got the win. But yet again, it's a frustrating one, isn't it? It is frustrating. And I don't know. Who knows? But no, some encouraging performances from some players, but France were just so much more dominant. We're going to stick around for a little bit. We're just going to put a post on social media for people to join in. And we're going to get people's opinions. I want to hear your opinions on the game. Get your opinions in now. Let me know your thoughts on this one. Let me know how do you see this one has gone. What do you think Wales have done well? What have we not done so well? What did France do well? If you're a French supporter, let me know. What did your team do really well this evening that you're really happy about? I want to hear your opinions this evening. So match reaction now, as we'll stick around for 10 to 15 minutes just to chat about the game and how it went and how you found it went. And what did you think of the performance this evening? But France absolutely deserved to win this one. They were so much better than us in every facet, really. And I don't think we can, to be honest, argue with that at all. I don't think we can argue with it. France were that much better. Dupont, man of the match for sure. He was the better player. So match reaction now. But yeah. But on the whole, I mean, I wanted to see more of a performance from us for sure. And yeah, I did want to see more of a performance, but it's all good. It's all good. Sharing this into a couple of social media places, and then we will listen to your opinions, because that's what we want to hear. We want to hear your opinions. What did you think of the game? And also, what would you have done differently? Where did we go wrong today? Let me know in the chat. So Ken Owens currently talking on the screen. He was out injured, of course. Ryan Elias, I thought, had a really tough game today. I think he had a really tough game. And I'd have liked to have seen a lot more from a lot of different players, but we didn't get to see it. As I said, this man here, Dupont, was just insane throughout the game. He was absolutely brilliant. If you're just joining now, we are doing a quick match reaction to this one, to France winning 38 points to 21 in Paris. So if you're watching it on Facebook, like our pages and subscribe to my channel on YouTube. We've just done a long watch along of the game, and now we're having a quick catch up of the game. Jacobus says, don't be negative, mate. It's the first game there. There will be improvement. Let's hope so. I'm not too negative. I'm more about the performance. I thought that we'd see more of a performance, and I just thought that France were that much better. In every facet, France were better, but that's okay. That's all right, though. Now, France were that little bit better than us. Wales conceding 5 tries today. Defence was not on point, really. So it is very frustrating, isn't it? But in many ways, you know, you have to applaud it. France were very good this evening, and the first 20 minutes, Wales did dominate the game. Were really impressive, really good start. Halfpenny got that try as well, and really happy with that. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough, was it? France were that much better than us. There we go. Anyway, get your comments in. What do you think of this game? What did you think we did well? What do you think needs to be improved ahead of Scotland next week? Jacobus says they'll be riots in our streets if it doesn't happen, mate. We've been waiting 12 years to reintroduce you guys to the Hurt Lotka. That's, of course, talking about the Lions. He also says, I did notice that Wales didn't commit enough players to the breakdown, lost a few turnovers to those big French boys. It's an interesting one. That do you go in pods or do you not? Man, it's a hard one. It's a hard one to know, isn't it? For sure. But yeah, it's one of them games and it's frustrating, but there we go. Just a reminder that we are streaming this on YouTube, on Facebook, on my own personal Facebook page, Brandon Smith YouTube, and on the Welsh Rugby Roundup show. So if you're a Wales fan, a Welsh rugby fan of any of the 4 regions of grassroots rugby, of the national side, this is the place to get up to date every day. Every day we put something out about Welsh rugby, breaking news, or talking points within the Welsh game. I'm going to put a link to it in the chat now. If you head over to it, you like the page, and then you'll keep up to date on loads of Welsh rugby things. So I'm going to put a link to it in the chat now if you want to go and check it out. Wayne Pivac just talking now with the TV folk. You have a listen.
To build on for next week.
Yeah, we certainly started well in both halves. Obviously, we let the French back in with the errors that I've talked about. So we've got to start well next week and then push on. I think.
Let's have a listen to what Pivac's got to say.
We made, we'll analyse those and make sure that we get that number reduced for next week.
We asked Ali Wyn-Jones about a possible red card, an incident with LaRue. I don't know if you saw it, and if you did, your thoughts on that?
No, I haven't seen it. Citing commission was there, so no doubt he'll do his job if he thinks it's warranted.
A quick word maybe about the new boys, not the first caps they would have wanted maybe, with no crowd there, no family members there, but a memorable night nonetheless.
Well, certainly for any player to represent his country for the first time, we talked about it before the game, those boys have been very, very excited in camp. And no, I think even though the result wasn't what they wanted, I think just the whole experience, the build-up and the match day itself, I think they'll go with some fond memories.
And next week, as you mentioned, a big game, the end of the Six Nations, a very, well, a weird concept, I guess, at the end of October, but being at home once again, looking forward to that one?
Oh, certainly. I mean, this game here is it served its purpose. You know, we've had a game of rugby now. No excuses. We've got to get in there next week and finish off the Six Nations with a good performance. And we want to win that game clearly to finish that tournament, put it to bed, and then look forward to the Autumn Cup series.
Wayne, appreciate your time. We'll catch up with you next week. Diolch yn fawr iawn.
There we go, Wayne Pivac there, giving his thoughts on the game. I think he speaks pretty well, but he admitted a lot to work on. But what needs to be worked on, put it in the chat, guys. We're going to stick around for another 5 to 10 minutes here, and then I'm going to clock off. But let us know. Let us know your reaction to the game, your thoughts, what went well, what didn't go so well. I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts. Let us know in the comments. My man of the match for sure is DuPont. Insane. From Wales' point of view, Webb did well. Tompkins did pretty well, actually had a decent game. And Reece Sammy, when he came on, had a nice little run. So Gareth Davies came on, had an impact, didn't pass a couple of times, which I didn't quite understand why. Maybe he's trying to prove a point or something with getting a try, but it is one of them things, of course it is. So the other results of the day, let's take a look at what's happened in the world of rugby this week. Today, sorry. So let's have a look. There's a few big games that, of course, have happened today. Let's talk about what happened in the Six Nations earlier today. Ireland beating Italy 50 points to 17. Absolutely smashing the Italians out of the park. An incredible performance from them. There were tries for Stander. Keenan got 2. Connors, Sexton, Aki and Heffernan got tries, with Podovan and Galbisi getting tries for Italy. Sexton got 5 conversions and Ross Byrne also got a conversion. So very strong day at the office for the Irish, then winning that one 50 points to 17. Of course, we just watched Wales. We lost against the French 38 points to 21. France deserving winners. Tries there for Bailly. Dupont got 2. Round the show, Olivan and Teddy Thomas, with Halfpenny and Nicky Smith getting tries for us. Mac got all of his kicks, actually. Yeah, got all of his kicks. And very successful night for him. Bigger missing a few kicks this evening. Very frustrating, that one, that's for sure. Let's then take a look at what happened in the Gallagher English Premiership final. That was won by Exeter Chiefs. Exeter Chiefs have done the double. They win the Champions Cup and also they win the Gallagher Premiership, 19 points to 13. With tries from Henry Slade. Umaga got the try for Wasps, but Simmons adding the conversion and 4 penalties for Exeter, 2 there for Wasps. So congratulations to Exeter Chiefs. We also had some Pro 14 action today. Ospreys beating Glasgow Warriors. Morgan Williams and Williams also getting tries, with Myler adding the points, and then Peter Horn adding the points for Glasgow Warriors, with Hugh Jones again a try and turner. Hugh Jones has been on form for Scotland. Any Scotland fans in the chat, let me know. Would you like to see him play for Scotland against Wales next week? Let me know. Jacob says a couple of Welsh guys need to put their hands up and hit those rucks hard. Australia did well with Scoot God hitting every ruck, which left David Pocock to do what he does best. I mean, we had that with Warburton and Lydiard, you know, and man, it works so well. We need to find that balance once again. Wayne Knight had a quiet game. I felt that area of the pitch. I felt the forwards just had quite a quiet game on the whole, to be honest, if I'm going to be honest with you. So Ospreys won against Glasgow 23 points to 15. And also today, there was one game in the Women's Six Nations. Ireland beating Italy 21 points to 7. Pete Molloy and Penalty getting the tries, with Turtle getting a conversion. Bettoni getting a try for Italy. So that's a really good result for the women's side for the Irish. Bulls beat Sharks 41-14. You have to care now, since we're just showing up and joining the Pro 14 like we belong now. I enjoyed that little comment. So 2 minutes more. So any final comments, put them in the chat and I'll read them out. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined the stream over the course of the evening. You subscribe, leave a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, guys. It's free to do. Keeps you up to date with everything that goes on the channel. We've got so much coming up over the next week in the lead up to the final weekend of the Six Nations. We've got a full day of streaming. So we're going to go from the Wales against Scotland game, kick off there, I believe, at 2:30. I've said this so many times this evening. Let me just remind myself of when that kicks off. So that game kicks off at 2:15. Yes, it does. Then we have Italy against England at 4:45, and then France against Ireland, finishing off the Six Nations at 8:05. We're going to do a watch along pretty much all the way through with that, with maybe like 2 minutes break between each. And I'm going to try and get loads of guests on to join throughout the games and to come in and give their thoughts on the game. Jacobson says, cheers, mate. I'm handing in my theses Monday the 2nd. Oh, good luck. I'm in uni as well, mate. If you don't hear from me, I'll join the week after. It will be an absolute privilege to have you on once again. Thank you so much for watching. If you're watching on Facebook, make sure to like the page, etc., etc. You know what to do. You smashed it this evening. Absolutely smashed it with the likes. You know, it's been insane. The support on the channel recently has just been insane. And I cannot thank people enough who have just, you know, just been so supportive and so kind. It means a lot. So a very busy week of rugby next week. Of course, we even before they kick off those Six Nations games, we have Australia against New Zealand. And we have a load of top 14 action going on as well. And then the following week, we've just got Pro 14 rugby then back again. So let's go back to the Pro 14 streams then. But let me know. Final thoughts for this one, guys. Let me know in the chat. What do you think? Are you happy with the performance tonight? What needs to be improved? What issues were there? Felt like there were a few in some areas, that's for sure. So thank you to everyone who has joined this evening. It's been absolutely brilliant to have you along. But I believe we're going to leave it there. You guys have absolutely smashed it this evening, and I massively appreciate what you guys have done, the way that you've interacted with the chat, the way that you've got involved with your comments and the likes and the subscriptions that you've added. Just one final shout to like and subscribe. And if you're on the Facebook page, just like the page and you'll be notified when we go live every time. But for now, that is where we're going to leave it. I appreciate you all. You've been fantastic. So win for France. It is a win for France, 38 points to 21. France thoroughly deserved. Dupont, of course, was insane. And Wales have a lot to work on. Next stream will be, of course, next Saturday, 2 o'clock, as we head into the Scotland against Wales game and streaming throughout the day, the other 3 fixtures in the Six Nations. On Friday night's preview of all the games coming out for the weekend ahead and Pro 14 Weekly, the roundup of this weekend's action out on Tuesday. So subscribe for all of that. But for now, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to love and leave you, basically. trying to get my words out. But there we go. But it's been brilliant to have you on the channel. It has been awesome to have you on. But that is where we're going to leave it then. Wales losing this one, 38 points to 21. Congratulations to France. They were deserving winners. Make sure that you're subscribed, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.